Thank you so much. And thank you all. We remember 9/11. We will never forget 9/11. But you know, it's one of those things. When we say we'll never forget something, it's not okay to just sit in a chair by ourselves somewhere and say we remember. We have to take that memory and put it into action. That's what you are doing today, packing 250,000 meals for people in need. Give yourselves an enormous round of applause. There are two responses to trauma. One is to say we're going to get revenge or we're going to get retribution and we're going to never forget how much we don't like those people over there. The other is to say we're going to focus on healing, making sure that we heal together, making sure that we build a better world together, making sure that we bridge the divides that have kept us separate for so long. And I'm just thankful to God to be in a community and a room today full of people who have made that choice theirs today. So thank you so much for that. I want to thank AmeriCorps, all the partners, all the amazing shirts that you have on, Feeding America, and I'm proud to be a part of this incredible team. And with that, I will pass it off to one of my incredible teammates. That's our Minnesota Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you everyone for being here. Many of us remember where we were on 9/11, and when I saw the news, I called my mom. And she didn't have the answers, but she was able to comfort me. And she reminded me of the Mr. Rogers saying of look for the helpers. That in this moment of tragedy and trauma, to look for the helpers, because there are always people who are willing to do good. And that is in fact who we are as Minnesotans, and that is who we are as Americans. And you will hear from someone who lost a loved one on that day. She has turned that grief into service and is an inspiration to me, and I know that she will be to you as well. So as we turn our grief into service and we heal together, and we are in a time in this country where folks are trying to divide us, we have more in common than we have that separates us. And when we come together to literally pack meals, to prepare to break bread together, that is one of the most powerful things that we can do in this moment. A moment of healing, a moment of unity, and just a moment of service and doing things for our neighbors and for each other. And I can't think of a better way to spend the day. And with that, someone who I know knows a little bit about public service, our Governor, Tim Walz.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, Mayor Carter, and to each of you. A big thank you to the 9/11 Day Committee, to Andrea and Kira who are here, to AmeriCorps, and to each of the organizations. I see the shirts here, and then to you individually. Lieutenant Governor's right, and I think all of you are here because of that, and those of us who are old enough, that was a defining moment for us. It's one of those, and the Lieutenant Governor's right. I picture that moment of disbelief, of horror, and for me it was a classroom at Mankato West, and students started to filter in the morning when news was happening, and to watch young faces try and comprehend the horror that was in front of them. To all the mothers, fathers, sons and daughters that were lost, to all of the first responders who were lost and responded and suffer illness years later because of this. As Lieutenant Governor also said, Cindy's going to be up here in a minute, and she lost her husband. But I'm always so inspired by where people at their moment of grief do find the ability to turn that into something positive. I don't know the courage where that comes from deep inside them, this idea that we do things together. And I think for all of us, it's not just word of remembering, it is indeed of what you're doing. And I remember that morning very clearly. But I remember the mornings after that when on streets I had never seen American flags before, they started to come out. And people who hadn't talked that much together started talking together. And it may have not lasted as long as we'd have liked, but there was a moment of unity around shared values. There was a moment of unity about caring for one another. There was a moment of unity that we're all in this together and that we rally around. And I think is something that in Minnesota, I can't express my deep gratitude and thanks. It's in the time of need that we become our very best. It's in the time of trauma that we rise to the occasion. And so thank you all for being here today. Thanks for continuing to make it not just another day on the calendar, but a way to express that we are truly honoring the memory of those folks by showing all that unity and all that binds us together. So with that, I turn it back to Chad. Thank you all.